At the same time, you also have certain epistemological challenges to studying schools in urban settings, right? And we have these competing paradigms, these assumptions that are built into these different research traditions. Now, I'm not a large fan of binaries, and I think they tend to oversimplify the discussion that we have. But in general, when we look at the quantitative research tradition, we know from Guba and Lincoln and others, and your upcoming and Eisenhardt, who was here, and Anderson's work, and I think Erickson was named as coming to talk. We know that we strip our analyses of a degree of contextualized knowledge when we look purely across large quantitative data sets, right? We also have this dualism built into many large-scale data analyses or large-scale quantitative research studies, where we assume that there's a duality where we can separate the researcher from the research, right? We can take out our subjective interpretations of what's happening. That's an assumption, at least, that's built in, and we look we're expected to derive our knowledge about what's happening deductively. Now, in the qualitative tradition, as you know, here we assume that our understandings are bound to the context, right? It's context-specific work and analysis that we engage in. And here we don't expect our researchers to separate themselves from the research participants, but in fact, we expect to derive our understandings from the interaction between the two, right? And this is the inductive research process. And at the same time, we also know that all the data and the standards for evidence that we bring to bear on our questions, they're actually based on qualitative judgments. Both of them are, right? Which cutoff do we pick for statistical analyses? Which participants do we sample and which do not? These are still qualitative in nature, and they're judgment calls at the end of the day. So there's always a degree of subjectivity and very important substantive knowledge that goes into the decisions that we make as researchers. And both types of data can at times be used for exploratory purposes or descriptive purposes, and even confirmatory, cautiously confirmatory purposes as well. Okay, so we have both methodological and epistemological considerations that we make and judgments that we make as researchers. When we are studying schools in an urban context, and we know that there are multiple realities and contextual conditions at play, all of these assumptions just become more amplified in the decisions that we make.